33. Again, at number 30, that's part of ritual. Now, fast forward to today, and you see 311. This is a code for 33. Of course, 3 times 11 is 33. You see the double horns. You see that serpent, that snake on the shirt. Another image of the band 311 with this demonic look, this face paint, and of course Saturn represents Satan. One of the band members from 311 has a shirt on that says Christianity is stupid. So you see the connection. And these are merely puppets of the elite that run this world and control every aspect of society. They're just hired help, puppets of Satan, pushing this satanic agenda, this anti-God, anti-Christ system that we live in. And of course, the highest degree in the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry is 33. And you can see this 33-degree Mason with this symbol on his head. This world is ruled by symbols, not by laws, as Confucius stated. This is the symbol by Aleister Crowley for Baphomet. Again, on top of the cap. Here's an image of Albert Pike, a very famous Freemason, Southern general, the number 33. He stated that Lucifer is the true God. Again, the creator of the KKK, 11, 11, 11, being 33. Of course, they changed that C to a K so they can get that number 33. Bank of America as well, the red and blue, 11, 11, 11 equals 33. CNN, the PSYOP News Network. This is how far they go. They go out of their way to create the supposed number one news station on cable on the 33rd parallel. Walt Disney, who created, of course, Disneyland, 33rd degree Freemason. And of course, this is how far they go. They went on their way to make Disneyland on the 33rd parallel. The alignment with the bloodline. Club 33, the duality, the black and white. In the world of duality, nothing is as it seems. That's the point of duality. And here's Mickey Mouse. Of course, MM equals 33. And the reason for the shape of Mickey Mouse's ears, of course, it doesn't look nothing like a real mouse. So they get that number 3. Of course, there's Mickey Mouse, there's Minnie Mouse as well, that code 33. And another puppet of the elite is Marilyn Manson. Again, just like Mickey Mouse, MM33, Marilyn Manson, MM33. The Rancho Santa Fe mass suicide with the Heaven's Gate cult. It took place, as far as a ritual, on the 33rd parallel as well. The Pope, back in 1987, in April, the Pope made a visit to Tempe, Arizona, the Sun Devil Stadium. Find it funny, out of all the locations in the U.S., he picks Tempe, which just so happens to be on the 33rd parallel. Again, Sun Devil Stadium on the 33rd parallel. That says a lot. And right in plain sight, all these gullible followers have no clue that this man that they believe is a man of God is holding up the 666 sign. Like it says in the Bible, Satan deceives the whole world. Again, Pope, Exact date was September 14th, 1987. Another famous psyop was in Roswell, New Mexico. And this was duping the light before the term was even coined. With the fake debris. Another psyop, like I said, in Roswell, New Mexico, on the 33rd parallel. This is how far they go out of their way to deceive the masses and do it with mockery. And the side of the supposed crash right on the 33rd parallel. Now fast forward to today with El Chapo, who supposedly escaped from prison. Now this guy's nothing but, a paid shill. Not a paid shill, but he's a paid operative. Basically a shill. But anyways, supposedly, he dug his way 33 feet. And his name just so happens to be 33 in Pythagorean numerology. So this whole news story with El Chapo versus Trump is nothing more than a psyop, divide and conquer news story. Both puppets of the elite playing to divide and conquer. Alex Jones, a very well-known puppet of the elite, throwing up the 666 hand sign. And Alex Jones' numerology is 33, just like El Chapo. This is a fictitious name, by the way. This is really Bill Hicks. And Alex Jones is just a character played by Bill Hicks. His fake voice, fake name, everything about him is fake. TV is just an illusion. Russell Brand, another fake truther. The number 33 tattooed on his wrist. Find that a very interesting location. With Christ being crucified near this location. The fake news story. Mars 1. 33 in 3 places in this article. 33, 33, 33 equals 666. It's all in the numbers. David Letterman retires after 33 years. Another ritual. TSA officer supposedly bled to death after 33 minutes. Another psyop in the world stage. Bill Gates, the logo, the Microsoft logo, 33. Always incorporating that number 33. It just so happens Bill Gates' name in numerology equals 33 as well. Mac Groening, a Freemason, the creator of The Simpsons, in the 33-cent store. Justin Timberlake, with the 2 girls wearing the number 3 and 3 equals 33. George Soros supposedly spent $33 million in bankrolling the demonstrators. Another psyop. O.J. Simpson, another divide and conquer news story. He killed no one. All fiction. Part of the divide and conquer, and of course, he gets 33 years in prison. All a psyop. He's just an actor. Before the trial, he was just an actor. I have a video on the subject showing how all those involved, the lawyers, attorneys, all actors, all currently, the ones that are alive, are all working for Hollywood. Even the DA, Gil Garcetti, is currently working for Hollywood, making movies. Nothing but a psyop, again, repeat image. Walt Disney. Bill Gates retiring after 33 years. Again, part of ritual. UN logo. Just so happens to have 33 sections with 33 right in the middle. By the way, this is flat Earth. This is mockery. This is how the Earth really is. We live on a flat plane, not a planet. This is how far the deception runs. Super Bowl with the 49ers versus the Ravens. The power outage was for 33 minutes. Nothing but a ritual. Same with this year's past Super Bowl being held in Phoenix Stadium Again, on the 33rd parallel, the local start time was 3:30. Again, part of ritual. Indy 500. 3 rows of cars, 11 cars deep, equals 33. Again, the elite own every aspect of her society. This famous image of Simpsons, and it relates to the towers, of course, which I'm going to demonstrate how 33 is incorporated with pretty much everything in society today with all news stories. These towers were constructed starting in 1968. They came down in 2001. That's 33 years. Tamar Rice, the PSYOP, supposedly happened at 3:30. Michael Slager, the cop that supposedly killed Walter Scott, was 33. Marilyn Monroe, trip 33. Of course, MM in Marilyn Monroe equals 33. The PSYOP plane crash, 33,000 feet up. Nothing but a hoax. Madonna and her gay marriages, 33 couples, another ritual. The 33 coal miners, and the Phoenix capsule that saved them, again, ritual. The world's nothing but a stage. Marty McFly, MM equals 33. And the reason they picked him for this role, because his real name is Michael J. Fox. Fox is 666 in numerology. Columbine, Colorado equals 33. ABC equals 123. Willy Wonka, from 71 in 2005, that WW equals 33 as well. Just like with the WWE, you get that WWE with no E in the logo. The reason they don't have that E is so they have that 33 when you turn it sideways. Again, with WWE, you turn that sideways to get the 33. Understand, Vince McMahon and all the big wigs you see on TV, they're all connected Masons. They're in the know. They wouldn't have a position in TV unless they were connected to those that run this world in some way or fashion. Taking a look at the WWE action figure line. Again, you have the WWE, which equals 33. The elite, referring to the elite that run this world, in 33. But basically, you have 33, 33, the elite. It's all coded. As well as Wonder Woman, WW. Turn that sideways, you get 33. Just like Mad Max. An interesting side note, the 2 lightning bolts, that's also from the Bible, from Luke chapter 10, verse 18, where Jesus beheld Satan falling from heaven as lightning. So everything is about symbolism with the elite. There's another lightning bolt. That's actually 3 lightning bolts. 1, 2, 3. And other characters, fictitious characters, with the MM, just like Mad Max. There's Mork and Mindy. Like I said, Marilyn Monroe, Marilyn Manson. And the list goes on and on. Michael Myers. You know, it's just non-stop. Mindy Moore. Many characters with that. Fictitious characters with those initials for that very reason. Now with the latest PSYOP with Clinton Correctional Facility, again, numerology, that C equals a 3. So you got CC, that's 33. There's always that number. With every PSYOP, there's going to be that number 33 hidden in some way. In some ways, it's not going to be so obvious, just like in this case. Another example of the use of that CC equaling 33 with CC DeVille, which basically means 33 devil. His real name is Bruce Johannesson. Another puppet of the elite. Rebel spirit. The rebel spirit equals Satan. Now here's a very interesting album cover, which I haven't seen anybody else cover before. Of course, you get the Culture Club with Boy George. The CC is highlighted in red. You get the plain symbolism on this outfit. You have the hand over the chest, which is a reference to Freemasonry. You get the airplane, just like the outfit. And this album is called the Hits Collection, referring to this plane hitting the towers. And CC Music Factory, which is nothing more than 33 Music Factory. And I find this logo by Chanel very interesting. Multiple symbolism. You get the CC equal 33. You got the black and white, which is duality, where nothing appears as it seems. And right here in the middle, you get the female part. So you got triple symbolism with this one logo. And to finish off, the biggest lie of them all, with evolution, you get that number 33 hidden in plain sight. So again, 33 rules this world. As far as psyops, the hoaxes and psyops, ritual, that's the elite's number 33.
Ah, Tang, the drink the astronauts took to the moon.
Astronauts to the moon.
Like I always say, truth in movies, lies in the news. And also, on a side note, they mention astronauts brought Tang to the moon. And there's a reason for that. Everything they do, there's a reason. No wasted motion. Here's a picture of the orange Tang. The reason for Tang, of course, the only color in numerology, that's 33. The highest degree in the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, as I've mentioned so many times. Let's take a look at the connection with orange and 33. It goes a long way. Taking a look at Citibank here. And what do you see this girl doing? Smiling with the orange in her mouth. That's the 33 right in plain sight. A little bit of a close-up. And of course, ING Direct with their orange account. The orange savings. The electric orange. The lightning bolt, of course, a reference to the Bible in Luke chapter 10, verse 18, where Jesus beheld Satan falling from heaven as lightning. Of course, the phony, fake ball earth as a orange. And a little bit more here from ING Direct. The orange key. Planet orange, basically a reference to planet number 33. And sometimes that 33 is not so obvious. With Bank of America here. Well, let's look at Discover first. You see all these cards in orange. To Bank of America. It's not so obvious, but the 11, 11, 11 is 33 in numerology. And they're not going to pass up on the orange, the occult of the orange. And take a look at the Bank of America building in Houston, Texas. It just so happens to be shaped or designed as 3 pyramids, and the color is orange. And taking a look at the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, of course, it's painted orange. And people ask all the time, why is it painted orange and not gold like its name? Just so happens it was built in 1933. Just a coincidence, I'm sure. Let's take a look at Albert Pike, of course, a famous Freemason, former Southern general, basically started the KKK. Here is a statue of him in Washington, D.C. As you can see here, the Masonic 33. Just a side note, I have a friend who works at a university. I talk to them about the occult, about people like Albert Pike. I mentioned Albert Pike to her. She said, who is that? This is the education system at work. They teach you only what you need to know to get a job, to survive in this world, but they're not going to tell you about those that lay the foundation behind the scenes, such as Albert Pike. Taking a look here, some images, this medal, this pin, I should say, of Albert Pike. Again, the 33rd degree Freemason. Understand the KKK and how it was formed. Of course, C spells clan, but they changed it to a K just so they can get 11, 11, 11, 33. It's all about Freemasonry in this world, going back all the way in time to Europe, to Scotland, with the Orange Order in the connection with the Ku Klux Klan. You can clearly see it here. Another image of Albert Pike. Again, signs and symbols rule this world. You see the KKK within a pyramid, in the inverted pyramid, as above, so below. So much symbolism in this one image here. Now let's take a look. The KKK again. When it comes to orange and the Grand Dragon, just so happens to be orange again, that is 33. Just another image, a real image of a Ku Klux Klan member's cloak. The 33 trap miners, supposed trap miners, nothing but a hoax, wearing orange. Of course, they control all of TV. You see Al Bundy here, married with children, wearing the number 33. Of course, the C, ABC 123. This is a 3 as well. This is 333, and that's the code for 666. For those that don't know, you can look that up. I'm getting more into the occult of orange, understanding Hitler and Nazi Germany. They had their own drink, and it was the Fanta Orange. Going back in time, you can see it. The drink originated in Nazi Germany. It's not a coincidence. For those that believe Hitler was some kind of hero, you are completely deluded, deceived. Unbelievable how people are completely programmed. Most people that don't believe in God, they look for a hero. So they figure, oh, Hitler was fighting the Jews, so he must be a good guy. Give me a break. More likely an atheist who doesn't believe in God that needs a hero. There are no heroes. You need to understand that. Look at the cover of this book. It's orange. Orange. Can you see this? Orange. How obvious can it be? And taking a look at Angela Merkel of Germany, the Chancellor, and she's wearing orange. And of course the Masonic hand sign. Oh, and what is Hitler doing? The same exact thing. People need to wake up and realize. People like Eric Dubé talking about the flat earth. He's telling you the truth there. But then he leads you on to lies that Hitler was some type of hero. Far from. Another form of mockery here is Hillary Clinton wearing the orange suit and doing the Nazi salute. Understand, her husband, Bill Clinton, of course, was born Bill Blythe. The reason he changed his name to Clinton, his surname, because it's 33 in numerology. People need to wake up and realize, again, there are no heroes. Stop being deceived. Stop being deluded, looking for one. The only hero you're going to have is Jesus Christ. Okay, now let's take a look at Arnold Schwarzenegger, and what do you see? The same exact Nazi salute, and he's smiling. Of course, a form of mockery. He would have never made it big in this world unless he was one of them. It's that simple. You're not going to make it in this world unless you sell out. You, of course, huge in the Terminator movies, all over TV still to this day. Of course, the governor of California. Unbelievable how people, are fooled and conned by these actors. Throughout history, Ronald Reagan, Jesse Ventura, Clint Eastwood. Some of these people believe that these were actual heroes when they're nothing more than puppets. The world's a stage. People need to realize that. Now, getting back to Arnold, let's take a look here at this image with Bloomberg here, where you see the skull and bones belt buckle. And this, of course, this photo shot taken. This is all on purpose as a form of mockery, saying who he is affiliated with. Same thing here goes with Glenn Beck in public. How obvious can it be with the skull and bones? So again, you turn to CNN or Fox News, it does not matter. They're all in the same club, and they show it. Talking about being in the same club, take a listen what Alex Jones, a.k.a. Bill Hicks, says about the death of Bill Hicks.
Yo, yo, yo. Yeah, but that dude is like Kevin Booth's like badass, man.
So what do you think about like people saying that Bill Hicks was killed?
That's who was saying that?
A lot of people understand the ruling elite that own and control this world. They're in the bloodline. All related. Even the so-called puppets, such as Madonna and Celine Dion, Tom Hanks, Brad Pitt. Not just puppets, but they're in the actual bloodline. And understand there's a lot of disinfo agents, such as David Icke, stating how these people, they're all reptilians, and their bloodline comes from another world, another planet, Draconia. And this is what disinfo agents do. They mix truth with lies. The bloodline, actually, they are extraterrestrials, you can say. They're not of this world. They are the bloodline of the fallen ones, of Lucifer and his angels, as it states in the Bible, how they were thrown from heaven and how they mingled with female humans. And a lot of people make videos on this subject when it comes to the bloodline. Well, I'm just not going to make a video stating things. I'm actually going to connect dots. I'm not just pulling things out of thin air, so people can see with evidence and proof what's really taking place. I'm going to play a video clip where the narrator speaks a lot of truth, but again, mixed in lies. When he talks about how the Bible talks about how giants were thrown to earth and they were called the Nephilim, that's absolutely not true at all. Nephilim comes from the root word nephal, which means to fall. These were fallen angels that mingled with female humans, and their offspring became giants. So again, there's a difference between Nephilim and giants. Giants are simply the offspring of the Nephilim mixed with female humans. That's what Goliath was. He was a giant. It's mentioned in Numbers in the Bible how scouts went into a land, and that's where they saw the giants, and they were like grasshoppers compared to them. And they talked about how they ate humans, how they were cannibals. And I made videos in the past talking about the Baalbek temples and those huge 100-ton stones that were moved from a quarry to build the Temple of Baalbek.
In Lebanon, 44 miles from Beirut, are the imposing ruins of Baalbek. There is mention of this place in the Old Testament's Book of Kings.
Baalbek in particular is a very good example. That has the trilithon. Those are the largest stones in the world ever used for construction. They're so large we don't even know their actual weight. Those stones were somehow quarried, moved 5 miles, lifted 25, 30 feet in the air, and placed together so closely that you can't fit a razor blade or a piece of paper in between them. We have no idea how they did it. We don't have a crane in the world that can lift weights anywhere near what those things are.
No one knows for sure, but according to Arab tradition, the earliest temples were built here after the Great Flood by a tribe of giants for the biblical king Nimrod.
And also, of course, the pyramids and Stonehenge. It's been said these are unsolved mysteries when in actuality these were created by the giants. This is part of hidden history. And people might wonder what happened to these giants. Well, that's when the floods came and they wiped them out. Even though you killed the flesh, the spirit still lives. And there were giants after those days as well. But they did not survive. There was not a large amount of these giants. Basically a tribe of giants. And these tribes were of the Satanic bloodline. Like I said, from the fallen angels. I'm going to play this video clip. And again, understand with this clip, there's a lot of truth in it. But again, the portion where he mentions how Nephilim were giants falling from heaven, it's not true actually, like I said. And this is what disinfo agents do. They'll speak a ton of truth, but they'll mix in a little lies. Just enough lies to lead people off course. Still a very good presentation, but good discernment is needed. Just like David Icke, calling the Satanic bloodline, the fallen angels, reptilians from another world.
Reptilian gods from the heavens creating man is not at all uncommon. It in fact can be found in most every region of our planet. In Japan, emperors claim descent from dragon gods who came from the sky. Australian Aborigines teach of a reptilian race which lives underneath the earth and governs over men. They believe they are descendants of a race of dragon humans. China teaches the serpent queen Nukua interbred with man. India calls these reptilian gods Nagas and claim they seeded their royal families. Throughout the Middle East it is believed a serpent race created man. The book of Genesis tells of giants who came from the heavens to breed with the daughters of man. They are called the Nephilim. In Africa they call them Chitauri, children of the serpent. The royal kings of Africa claim descent from serpent gods who came from the sky. In South America, the Mayans teach that their ancestors were the people of the serpent. The Aztecs were said to be created by a serpent woman. In America, the Hopi Indians believe sky gods came to earth to breed with their women and refer to them as their snake brothers. The word Sioux means snakes, and Iroquois means serpents. It seems the only places you will not find this historical story is where the history has been methodically destroyed. The descendants of King Anu in Sumeria and Babylon can be traced throughout time. The pharaohs of Egypt were from the bloodlines of the Babylonian kings. The rulers of the Roman Empire can be traced to Egyptian hierarchy. All throughout Europe, the royal families can be traced back to the great Roman emperors. 34 of the presidents of the United States are directly descended from European royalty, with the remaining 8 who are only closely related to these same bloodlines. In 1934, President Franklin Roosevelt placed the Great Seal, originally created in 1782 by the Freemasons, on the dollar bill. Represented in the Great Seal is a pyramid and the all-seeing eye, known to be used by the elusive society, the Illuminati. Strung together in conspiratorial confusion are secret societies such as the Illuminati, the Freemasons, and the Bohemian Club. In 1917, National Geographic did a story on a place in Montreal, California called Bohemian Grove. The story reports a place where the world's elite, members of the Bohemian Club, retreat to in late July and conduct an ancient occult ceremony called the Cremation of Care. Every year in July, the world's leaders, media moguls, and members of the World Bank spend 2 weeks of what is known as a men-only retreat at the Grove. In the year 2000, ABC television show World of Wonder infiltrated Bohemian Grove with hidden cameras and aired the video on the BBC. The video shows the large mass of men donning red and black robes and once again conducting the Cremation of Care ceremony. The altar is at the base of a 200-foot owl, the Babylonian symbol of the god Moloch, the god of human sacrifice. In the video, a body is delivered upriver to the altar where it is set on fire. Upon being aired, members of the Bohemian Club reported that the ceremony is a put-on, merely done for entertainment and fun. This history tells a story of our world leaders having a deep involvement in satanic tradition, worshipping our reptilian overlords, the serpent gods. It poses the possibility that we may be and have always been enslaved by our leaders, no different than sheep or cattle.
And like I stated earlier in the video, I just don't pull things out of thin air to make connections. I'm going to touch upon Vlad the Impaler, also known as Dracula, and understand how Dracula, with the origin of that meaning for that name in Romanian means, it means son of Dracul. Therefore, young Vlad was son of the dragon or son of the devil. And you're going to see the connection with this video clip with Prince Charles talking about how he's related to Vlad the Impaler. So you're going to see how the so-called elite that run this world from behind the scenes, they're all in the bloodline of Lucifer and the fallen angels.
I am Dracula.
Prince Charles and Dracula, two names that don't seem to go together. However, the Romanian Tourism Board is playing up a connection between Prince Charles and Count Dracula. Romanian officials have released a brochure at a World Travel Market, a travel industry event in London, including a fact that 63-year-old Prince Charles has a distant link to Vlad the Impaler, a nobleman from the 15th century who helped to inspire the vampire legend Dracula. Last year, the prince stated in an interview, "Transylvania is in my blood. The genealogy shows I am descendant of Vlad the Impaler, so I do have a bit of a stake in the country."
And His Royal Highness Prince Charles, who can trace his ancestry back to Romania's dark and distant past.
The genealogy shows that I'm descended from Vlad the Impaler, you see. So I do have a bit of a stake in the country.
Prince Charles actually owns a house in Transylvania, and he appears in a video used by Romanian authorities to promote the country. The Prince of Wales is certainly not ashamed of his heritage and Romanian roots. He states, "Transylvania has so much to teach us. It's the last corner of Europe where we see true sustainability. We must learn from that before it's too late." What do you think about a possible connection between Prince Charles and Dracula?
Now, taking a look at this side-by-side of Prince Charles and Dracula, the resemblance is amazing. Look at that nose. Basically identical. The facial features, one and the same. I can completely see how they are related, no doubt. Now understand, of course, Dracula is well known for drinking blood, and this is all about Satanism, of course, doing everything in opposition of the Bible, where the Bible states in Deuteronomy, "Only be sure that you eat not the blood, for the blood is the life, and you may not eat the life with the flesh." Like I've stated many times in my past videos, Hollywood, of course, is owned and controlled by the Satanists. And with this movie scene from Pulp Fiction, with John Travolta and Uma Thurman in the restaurant, John Travolta orders a steak, and Uma Thurman orders a hamburger. And of course, they both order it bloody. These are little subtle hints that goes over people's heads that watch these movies. This is why the so-called elite are called the enlightened ones. And it's very sad. It reminds me of the quote from George Lucas, who stated right before the filming of Phantom Menace, "Why does the public watch movies? Why is the public so stupid?" And this is what he's referring to. People watch movies and don't get a lot of these hidden messages. Take a look, and also after this scene, I'm going to play a clip that shows the 666 with the briefcase, showing the satanic connection with Pulp Fiction. Not just Pulp Fiction, with all of Hollywood, owned and controlled by the Satanists.
Hi, I'm Buddy. What can I get you? Let's see, steak. Oh, yeah, there's Douglas Sirk steak. Have that.
How do you want that cooked? Run to a crisp or bloody as hell?
Bloody as hell, and oh yeah, look at this, vanilla Coke.
What about you, Peggy Sue?
I'll have the Durward Kirby burger. Bloody.
And of course, the director of Pulp Fiction was Quentin Tarantino. Just look at the Masonic, satanic hand signs, just like Baphomet. Taking a look at this image, full of blood, and what do you see? The X on his forehead. And that's the mark of Satan himself. Just like on well-known Satanist Kevin Sullivan, here with the fallen angel Nancy Sullivan. How obvious can it be? To make it in this world, you must be a Satanist. Getting back to Kevin Sullivan, he was the head booker of WCW Wrestling, which of course was owned and controlled by Ted Turner. Out of all the people that he had controlling WCW Wrestling from behind the scenes, making the matches, booking the storylines, it was a Satanist. Now to get back on topic with the bloodline, specifically with Barack Obama, before I show that clip with him on BET talking about how he's related to Dick Cheney, listen to what Lynn Cheney, Dick Cheney's wife, says about Barack Obama. This is all about mockery. And you'll see her do the 666 hand sign when she talks about the bloodline. Take a look. It's right in your face. This is what Satanism is all about. Mockery and lying. Because, of course, like the Bible states, Satan is the father of all lies. There's no truth in him. And that's why when I always say all these news stories, you see these 24/7 covered news stories are nothing but lies, nothing but hoaxes, nothing but psyops. You need to understand this is the way the bloodline operate. There's no truth in them, nothing but lies. And the only truth you'll get is hidden message as form of mockery. Take a look and listen.
But I have to admit to a certain bias here. To get back to my book for a minute, in my book there's a lot of genealogical research, you know, going back Dick's family, my family, these heroic and amazing tales of people who went west. But one of the things I discovered is that Dick and Barack Obama are 8th cousins. What? Is that an amazing thing? Yes, if you go back 8 generations,
Really?
they have a common ancestor.
So you're for Barack Obama?
No, but I thought I should admit this fact as evidence that maybe I'm not completely objective about Mrs. Clinton. But think about this. This is such an amazing American story that one ancestor, that one ancestor.
Either of those first 2 books, though, who knew? You and Dick Cheney cousins?
You know, these folks have been doing all these genealogies on me, and they've found all sorts of strange connections.
This has got to be the strangest, though.
Well, listen, if you go back far enough, you know, you got all kinds of crooks and thieves in your family. I'm not necessarily drawing that analogy. I'm just saying. You don't know who's back there.
What did you make of that story? For those who don't know this, so Lynn Cheney, the vice president's wife, has been doing some genealogy connected to her latest book, and lo and behold, way back, 8 generations ago?
8 generations or
you
something.
and Mr. Cheney apparently have some distant relative. What did you make of that story when it came out?
You know, I actually knew about it because
The name of my cousin, Dick Cheney, will not be on the ballot.
Now more on the Satanic bloodline. Let's focus on Brad Pitt, Tom Hanks, Madonna, and not shown on this chart, but it's also mentioned Lady Gaga's in the bloodline as well. Now getting back to Brad Pitt, take a look at this quote from the Huffington Post during the filming of Moneyball. I can really try on something different for myself. That was Satanism. It really worked out well. I made a pact. That's why. And interesting enough, talking about the bloodline that goes all the way back to Dracula, look at this photo of Angelina Jolie, of course, married to Brad Pitt. What do you see? Her tasting the blood. This is how the Satanists do it. They love to mock right in plain sight. People see this and they cannot connect the dots. They don't understand the occult. They don't understand what's taking place in this world full of deception, lies, and mockery. And taking a look at this puppet in the game, Keisha, she's simulating drinking blood with this heart on stage. Completely sick and satanic. Disgusting. And taking a look at this interview from E! Online with Billy Bob Thornton, of course, the ex-husband of Angelina Jolie. And he mentions how Angelina Jolie wore a vial of blood around her neck. These are the Satanists in the game. We go down to the quote. He talks about, and we were vampires and we lived in a dungeon. Vampires, and of course the bloodline going back again to Vlad the Impaler, or Dracula as he was known as well. And to conclude this presentation, I'm going to play several clips from Tom Hanks' 1989 movie called The Burbs. In the very last scene where Tom Hanks' friend points at the satanic book, then points at Tom Hanks' head, stating, once they get in your head, pal, it's all over. And to me, this is a reference to the school textbooks which teach the theory of evolution, and that's why they say get them while they're young. Once you've been programmed, it's very hard to unprogram the mind. And that's exactly why they created this public school system, to indoctrinate the masses into the satanic system of evolution of no God.
Satanists, huh? Ritual killers. Nice.
Very, very
Vision.
nice.
I'm telling you, these people are Satanists. As I sit here, they are Satanists. Look, the world is full of these kind of things. Look at this. Black masses, mutilations. Unconscious chanting. You're chanting. I want to kill everyone. Satan is good. Satan is our pal. Hey, once they get in here, it's over, pal.